Hello brains! I often get asked, hey Jessica, I just have ADD. Can I still benefit from this channel? Yeah, in fact, I was originally diagnosed with ADD too. So why is this channel called How to ADHD? I can explain. Speaking of explaining, this episode is sponsored by The Great Courses Plus, which explains all kinds of cool things. I'll talk more about that at the end of this video. Basically, ADD, or attention deficit disorder, is an outdated term, which still gets used because there are still people who were diagnosed with it, including me. As the quiet daydreamer type, I was diagnosed with ADD, while my more hyperactive brother was diagnosed with ADHD. So a lot of people still think of them as separate conditions. In fact, when I first started the channel, I almost called it How to ADD. But while researching ADD, I learned that it's not actually called that anymore. Which, what? I had ADD for like 20 years and now it's not a thing anymore? Turns out, as researchers and experts learned more, they realized that ADD and ADHD aren't so much separate conditions as different types of the same condition. So they changed the standard name to ADHD and divided it into 3 different types. After even more research, they learned that those types aren't exactly static. They're presentations that can change over time. So in the DSM-5, which is the current diagnostic manual in the US, an ADHD diagnosis is split up into presentations: predominantly inattentive presentation, predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation, or combined. ADHD combined presentation means you have enough inattentive symptoms and enough hyperactive impulsive symptoms that you qualify for both. And it's actually the most common presentation. It's also what my official diagnosis is now. So on this channel, I talk about strategies for dealing with inattention, strategies for dealing with hyperactivity and impulsivity, and I also talk about executive function challenges, which is something that exists not only in ADHD, but also autism and other conditions as well. Labels can be helpful in understanding what we're struggling with and getting ourselves the proper care, but they're also just labels, and labels can and do change over time as our understanding grows, which is good because otherwise ADHD would still be called this. Labels are also different depending on the country you live in. A few of the international brains helped me make an episode about that. So whatever your diagnosis is, whatever you call it, or even if you haven't been diagnosed, I hope you find the strategies on this channel helpful and know that you are more than welcome to join us in learning how to work with your brain, not against it. Speaking of learning, I just started taking courses from The Great Courses Plus, and I've already added a ton of courses to my watch list because it turns out they have at least one course available for literally everything I wanted to learn about, which is a lot of things. This is actually one of the reasons I never finished college. Like a lot of people with ADHD, I'm an interest-based learner, and my interests kept changing. So I kept taking classes that interested me and never made a lot of progress toward my degree. Well, this way I can do that without spending a lot of money on college courses, or even having to study. The Great Courses Plus, if you haven't heard about it, is a subscription service that gives you access to over 11,000 courses taught by actual Ivy League professors and other experts in their field. They actually just added this one about CBT, which I was really excited about. It's been really educational so far. The professor approaches it as a CBT toolbox and explains and demonstrates the techniques and how to apply them to different life challenges. The course isn't specific to ADHD, but CBT, or cognitive behavioral therapy, is one of the techniques that's suggested for ADHD, so this is probably one of those courses I'll take all the way through. But the cool thing about the Great Courses Plus is you don't have to. All the courses are on demand, so you can watch the lectures whenever you want, skip around to other lectures or other courses, rewind them when you get distracted. You can even switch to the mobile app when you want to do things like take your dog for a walk, and you can pick right up where you left off. If you want to try it out, you can go to thegreatcoursesplus.com/howtoadhd or click on the link in the description below to start your free trial. Like any free trial, I recommend setting a reminder for yourself to check in and decide if you want to keep going before the trial ends, and include how much you'll be billed if you do. This is especially important if you choose something like an annual plan, which is cheaper per month, but you get billed for the whole year. Being prepared for that can help us avoid the ADHD tax. If you decide to try it, or if you have tried it, let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know what courses you're taking. Maybe I'll check them out. Thank you to The Great Courses Plus for sponsoring this video. Very cool of you. And thank you to my brain advocates and all my Patreon brains for sponsoring all of the work that we do on this channel to help people learn to work with their brains, not against them. We just hit 500,000 subscribers recently. That is 500,000 people, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. Like, subscribe, click all the things, and I will see you next video. Bye, brains.